Hey guys, welcome to another episode in Among the Ages. I hope everyone's doing well. So, I'm gonna say this now. I've already done episode 4, right? And I was gonna redo episode 3. Um, but then there were gonna be some changes. And yeah, so I was originally wanting to stay back in beta 1.5 because I want to stay with trying to do animal farms. But then it would have been too buggy, or not too buggy, but the world would probably have an easier chance to corrupt since we went back in time. So I just said, okay, I guess I'm not doing it. So yeah. That's the sad part. Um it sucks, but oh well. I won't be able to experience actual animal farms. And I mean passively spawning animal farms. Which were possible back then. Maybe if I ever do something similar like Among the Ages again, I need to keep that in mind. Also, I was kind of regretting as well. I didn't start out earlier, like before beta 1.5, but whatever. It's in the past. If we ever have a second series of Among the Ages in like a year or two, we can try it again at beta 1, you know. But today is gonna be a storytelling day. Like I said, I already did episode 4, and then I just didn't feel like it was good enough, so I'm redoing it right now. So, yeah, I'm gonna go caving, and I'm gonna do a voice narration of me caving. And I don't know how long I'm gonna try to cave for, but um, I'm gonna go as long as I need to, and hopefully I'm able to tell the story in that meaning of time. I'm gonna try to cave for an hour, but I'm probably gonna be able to tell the story in less than 30 minutes, or in less than 40 minutes or so. So, yeah, but other than that, let's go ahead and start the story. Now, I'm gonna say this now. I'm sorry for it may being long or drawn out. I'm not the best when speaking. Um, it's been like that since day one. So I'm sorry about that. You guys could already probably tell from watching my past videos. But I'm just declaring that now just so whoever's new would understand. So to get the story started, it was me, my grandmother, and my cousin. Um, Now my grandmother was wearing a boot and she was the driver. So keep that in mind for later in the story. So this day that we were leaving from up north, going back home, right? And so that day I was extremely sick. Like it was like it was bad, right? It was just felt like throwing up, I had cold sweats, whatever. I just wanted to go to sleep, right? And so um I uh I did that, or like once we were ready to leave, I passed out completely. After a few hours, we drove like a state or two. We finally got to a restaurant. They woke me up. I was still feeling terrible, right? Then I ate. Um, it was feeling terrible afterwards, so we got back in the car. I tried to go back to sleep. It wasn't possible, but we went down the road to a gas station. And so we used the bathroom, getting snacks and whatever else for the road trip, right? Also gas, right? And so I did that, came back to the car, and lay down and passed out. Now, I need everyone to understand this fully. You might get the idea, right? If you've never been in a car wreck, you may get the idea on how a seatbelt can save you or even help you uh, uh, most of the time, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I'm lucky to be alive. right? For not wearing a seatbelt. So yes, I forgot to put on a seatbelt. I just got back in the car, laid down, passed out completely in an instant, right as I laid my head down. And what's the name? And I just completely forgot to put on my seatbelt. My grandmother and my cousin didn't really realize that I didn't have it on. So what's the name? After an hour or two or so, I don't know how long it was. Oh, I should say this now. Now I'm gonna speak from a point of view that my grandmother and my cousin has told me. So I do have my own point of view, but I'll tell you after a certain point. But I'm gonna tell you the details of the car wreck and then my point of view. So after a couple hours, we were on the highway, of course, and from my understanding, it was really bad traffic. Like my grandmother was driving and bad she saw really bad traffic up ahead. And so when she tried to slow down by pressing the brake, one of either two things happened. She told me that the car kept accelerating, but then also the car would it just wasn't neutral, basically. It just wouldn't stop at all. You know? Like pretend if you put a car in neutral, it's gonna roll by itself, you know. Of course, the brakes will still work, but whenever she was pressing on the brakes, it just didn't work, you know. Um, she told me both things there, so I don't know which one is true, right? So I'm just gonna go with when she pressed on the brakes, they just didn't work, period, right? Um, and that's what I want to the boot thing that I told you about. When she sprained her ankle a few days before. That's why I wanted you to keep that in mind, just so I can maybe get your guys' opinion on what it could be. I don't know. She told me both things. Yeah. Either way, besides the point, she told me this, and what's the name? And so she was thinking that she might hit the car ahead of us. So if she did that, it could not only damage the car ahead of us, but it could also badly injure the people ahead of us as well. And as well, there was a semi truck behind us. So if we hit them, the semi truck might have not noticed us stopping that quickly, right? And so that semi truck could have plowed right into not only our car, but maybe even many others, you know. And so my grandmother then saw a field to the right, and from what she said is it looked level to the highway, right? And so oh, voice crack. Um so she then decided, you know what, I'm just gonna pull off into this field. So right as she did that, we flew off the road. Now, keep this in mind. I don't remember that. So, once I get to my point of view, which isn't much, but I'm going to tell you my point of view, and I will need maybe some type of help on how I can connect the dots, because right at this point, I'm somewhat confused from what I remember. But basically, my grandmother, she said that we flew off the highway. And right as we did, we flew off in an area that was basically a construction zone where workers were working on a pipe. And they were beside the pipe, they were on top, like they were like working on a pipe. And so, let's say we flew over them, and apparently like someone was counting for us, or my grandmother or my cousin was counting, because like every time we flipped in the air, someone was counting like 1, 2, you know. But apparently we flipped 3 times mid-air before landing on our roof. Luckily we landed in mud, so we wouldn't be crushed. Now, if it wasn't mud, there was a high possibility of us being crushed, or tracked if we didn't, you know, die, you know. And what's the name? So um yeah, my grandmother and my cousin, they crawled out of the car just fine. And then about, I'm assuming about 20-30 minutes afterwards, I woke up, right? And that's pretty much it. Now, me, on my point of view. So I remember waking up and feeling rumbling in the car. I was like wondering what that was. Keep in mind, I'm like half asleep right now. Like I'm not fully registering what's going on. So I remember waking up and like looking on both sides of the car, seeing field around it, right? And or at least very tall grass, right? And I felt the car shaking and whatever, and so, and like I heard screaming, yelling, and so I asked, "Hey, what's wrong?" or something like that, and I just continued to hear screaming, yelling. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I might have scared them, and so I just went right back to sleep. Um, I wasn't fully asleep for the next 3 to 5 seconds because all of a sudden I started feel being pushed heavily. Right, I remember. I don't remember touching the seat for a little bit. You know, I don't think. What's the name? Oh wow, no. I now remember this. I remember being feeling like I'm not touching anything at all, like if I was mid-air myself. And what's the name? Then I guess I passed out by hitting my head or something. Um, but I remember like the crashing noises and the windows breaking and everything. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I was just getting the idea that this is probably not the best story to tell as the first story on my channel, but oh well. um, but yeah, I remember all of that. And so, um, after, I'm gonna assume, like I said before, 20 or 30 minutes, uh, I started to wake up. There was a lady next to the window. She was in the mud, like laying down in the mud, trying to make sure I was okay, um, and asking me to say if I was alright. Now, keep in mind, I still didn't have a seatbelt on, right? And from what I was told, I was flipping in the air as the car was flipping as well. So I might have flipped about 6 times total, me personally, you know, because that's what I heard. Plus, I do remember being up in the air. You know, I don't remember touching anything at least. You know, like, have you guys ever been in a roller coaster and like you go down the big hill after you dun, 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 you know what I mean? And then that split second you like lift off your seat. That's what it felt like. That's what I remember. And what's the name? So I can maybe like agree in some type of way or form that I I was for sure in midair, right? But yeah. Oh, also, this would also help a little bit too. When I was sleeping in the car, my feet were toward the driver. No, I'm sorry, I lied. I just paused the recording for a minute to remember. But no, my head was towards the driver and my feet were towards the passenger. That's how I was laying down, right? And then I sat up, and when I woke up during the car rumbling and everything, and then laid right back down the way I was, right? When I woke up with the car being upside down, I remember my head now being on the passenger side, and the driver's side is where my feet are. You know what I mean? So I for sure rolled in the car or flipped in the car as the car was flipping in midair. Either way, the lady was really nice. She was trying to make sure I was okay. She was trying to make sure I wouldn't move just in case I made anything worse in my body, just in case I had broken bones, whatever. Oh man, now here's the stupid part of the story. If anyone likes to listen to stupid people or think stupid people are entertaining, I'm one of those people. Because, oh man, and it gets better from here. I know it's a tragic thing that happened, but this is how stupid I am, right? I I was waking up, I was starting to process like what was happening, like, oh, why is the car upside down? Oh, why is it so muddy? Like why is this there? So on, right? And so my foot, it was like it was up in the air but pushing against the door. I guess I like moved my leg to push up there. I can't remember exactly. I just remember my foot being up, right? Being towards what was supposedly supposed to be the bottom of the car, the floor of the car. Either way, um, I started to smell gasoline, and uh, and I'm like, oh, I smelled that. I smell gasoline, and all of a sudden, I felt liquid drip onto my foot. My heart sank because in an instant, right as I felt that liquid, I'm like, oh no, this cart is gonna explode. So I told the lady, look, this cart is gonna explode. This car is gonna explode. So I was trying to like crawl out of there. I had scratches and like there's glass everywhere. So I don't think I was really trying to be careful with that. I can't remember how I was being careful with the glass, but either way, I crawled out of the car, right? And then right as I got out of the car, I stood. So thankfully, I was able to stand, right? And like I wasn't really in much pain, right? But right as I stand, I completely forgot about the part of me saying the car was gonna explode. I completely forgot, and to make basically matters worse, I turned around. And the first thought that came to my head right as I turned around and stood up was, what was the underside of our car? What did it look like? And oh man, and I laugh about it because I was so serious. I'm like, I wonder what the underside of our car looks like. So I looked at it like, oh, really? That's what it looks like. Oh, okay. And so I was thinking about trying to climb on top of the car, trying to see it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. My back is in too much pain. I don't want to do that. So thankfully, I didn't do something stupid. But yeah, I remember like just standing there thinking that, right? And then I remember in the back, I don't know what the machinery is called, but it's not really a grave digger. It's one of those like big machines with a long arm with a bucket, You know what I mean? I don't know the name. Either way, I remember seeing that, so I can for sure confirm that it was some type of construction site or whatever. Either way, um, then I believe it was a nurse or some other civilian. I'm saying that like I'm like a government person or something. A civilian. Um, but someone brought over a interior piece of a door of the door that like got ripped out as we were rolling or flipping or whatever. And so they made me sit down on it, right? And they were trying to make sure I was okay, if I remember stuff. I remember looking to the left, seeing my grandmother sitting down on like a mud edge talking to someone. I remember seeing someone or my cousin to the right talking to a couple of people as well. Then I remember turning around and I'm looking up the hill. This hill was pretty steep, right? It was a muddy hill. It was pretty bad, right? So I can somewhat say that we for sure rolled. I don't know how many times, or not rolled, but flipped. So I don't know how many times, but I'm just gonna say 3 since that's what I was told. And then also the construction area, right? I don't remember seeing a pipe though, so I don't know. I can't say anything about a pipe, but anyways, yeah. Continuing from there, about 5 to 10 minutes afterwards, the ambulance came. And then the paramedics came down with a stretcher, and they checked on everyone else, and then came to check on me, and they took me out on a stretcher. Now, to give you an idea how steep this hill was, the paramedics were flipping, trying to pull me up, and I believe there were either four or between 4 to 6. I can't remember exactly, but there were that many paramedics trying to pull me back up the hill, and put a neck brace on me and everything, and so on. And that's pretty much it. Like after that, I spent a couple hours in 2 hospitals. The first one, I stayed there for a few hours, and then they had to move me to another one that was like an hour away, and then I stayed a few nights at that hospital. Now, injuries. My grandmother, I want to say she had the worst. Um, but I don't really know much about my cousin as because it looked like he had a minor injury, so I don't know. And it's up to you what do you guys want to say it could be the worst injury out of all three of us if you really want to try to compete and compare. At the end of the day, no one's getting a prize if they get it right. um, but my grandmother, she had bruises all over her chest and her neck, and it was like really swollen. It was bad. Like there were so many colors of the rainbow, I didn't even know it was part of the rainbow. Like I even saw a bit of Dr. Pepper in there. um, but like she was really badly bruised and everything, and she was like that for a few months or a few weeks. I think it lasted a little over a month. My cousin, he had a bruise. His foot and it was bruised and swollen as well. His right foot, but he was able to walk. And then me, I had a concussion. I'm assuming we all three had concussions. I don't think they told me they did, right? But I'm assuming they did. Since, well, it's a car wreck, like usually you would have a concussion. Either way, I for sure had a concussion, from what the doctors told me. And I also fractured the T11 and T12 on my back. For those who don't know where that is on the human body, just basically think it's the lower back, right? It's my lower back. And what's the name? And I'm still affected by it. I have back pain, right? And what's the name? When they were taking me to the hospital and stuff, my back was just tense. It wasn't pain; it was just tense. Like it was so hard to move, right? But they said my ribs were strong enough to hold my back up, so I didn't need like a cast or like a brace or anything like that. So that's good. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. I don't think I've really left anything out. Um, I'm keeping locations and everything a secret, but it's not really that needed. But also, um, I guess privacy things, I guess. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and ask me down below. I'll try my best to answer the best of my ability. Keep in mind the car wreck itself, I was told by my cousin and my grandmother, so it's not my point of view. My point of view is waking up and then the story about me wondering what the underside of the car looks like. but but other than that, I think that's pretty much everything about that story. Um, and that's really my first like crazy wreck I've been in. Um, so yeah, the doctors were surprised that I wasn't injured more since I didn't even have a seatbelt on, and I for sure came out lucky because man, the car. I remember looking at it. I wish we had pictures of it. Actually, I think we do. I just don't have them. Either way, the car was bad. It was in a bad shape. So, yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and end off this story time. So, yeah, thank you guys for taking this long and listening to this story of me being stupid but also being in a car wreck. um, I've I have, I guess, funny moments of that, even though it shouldn't be a funny moment. But of course, my stupid mind. Oh man, I still can't believe I wanted to know what's the underside of a vehicle. Whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and continue up, and gonna go ahead and wrap up the end of the video in the next clip. So I just want to say thank you guys for listening to this part of the video. Um, and or for listening this long in the video. Anyways, I'm drawing it out long. Sorry. Um, I'll just see you guys maybe in the next story. I don't know. I don't really have many stories, but I will try to figure out any more if you guys want more. So I don't, like I said, I don't really have many, so it might be scarce. Alright guys, so it's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours since we've last spoke. For me at least. For you guys, we got the story. So hopefully I had enough recording for me to explain the story. And yes, keep in mind everyone's alright now, everyone's okay. um But yeah, so I went caving. Oh man, I wish I was recording this, but right as I dug up, getting out of the ground, it was dark, right? So I just kept a block above me, and like beside me was the sky. Then it started to rain. I'm like, oh okay. And then I was hearing footsteps outside, but I was thinking it was like mobs, like animals or whatever. So whenever I broke the top block, I placed 2 blocks under me while jumping. All of a sudden, it only took me down 3 hearts, but oh, it removed my pants. But it for sure got me. I need to make new armor. Let me do that real quick before I will show you. All right. Oh, I can't shift click. Right. All right. So, the first time I did this episode, um, what's the name? This is the chest of what I got inside. You guys ready? You guys ready? Boom. Yeah, it wasn't much. This was on it. Well, also had iron. Probably about a few stacks of iron. That. More here. So about three stacks I had. Um, well, I just ruined that, but this is what we gained from that caving experience. So we got some stacks of redstone, some diamonds, mossy stone. Now, just to let you guys know, in this version, there's no way for you to craft moss stone, right? Or mossy stone, or mossy cobblestone, right? You can only find it in dungeons, if I remember correctly. But it makes the most sense, because I don't think there was anything else with mossy cobblestone. I got some cocoa beans, a saddle, but I don't think horses are out. I could be wrong. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong because I didn't see any. A little bit of gold, couple of melons, obsidian for a enchanting table, and a nether portal. So that'd be nice. We will mess with that stuff in the next episode. But yeah, this is pretty much it. And what's the name? I think from now on, I'm gonna strip mine until we get better transportation, because trying to sail in boats, oh man, they're terrible. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. This video is probably gonna be pretty long, um, and I'm gonna have to do tell the story tonight, because I am too tired to right now. So yeah, I'm just wanting to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you're interested in seeing more of this series, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And wait till there's another episode. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. I also forgot to tell you bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, that's my shovel. That's my shovel. Goodbye. No, 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 no. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, goodbye. Goodbye.